many things I enjoy in video games that I never want to experience in real life. Such things like mining different corridors, getting swarmed by giant bugs, and being within 50 meters of free alcoholics. This game let me experience all of that and much more. So put on your mining helmet, grab a pick, and let's dig in, people. Hello everyone, my name is Tram, and today we're going to talk about the 4-player co-op horde shooter Deep Rock Galactic. DRG is a game that has been out for some time now, made by Ghost Ship Games and still taken care of to this day. As a matter of fact, a new season is just about to start in November with new gadgets and enemies for our miners to play around with. So what do you do in this game? Quite a lot, but not a lot at the same time. While there are many different objectives such as gather a specific ore, find and salvage lost robots, escort a giant mining robot to dig through a gumball, and grab all the oil you can find, you also do all of this in a fairly samey nature. The enemies don't change massively, and some have different versions depending on the biome you're in. So let's cover the lore. You're a space dwarf. It is unclear if there are space humans, and there's implication that space elves exist out there. You work for a corporation named Deep Rock Galactic, and it is your godforsaken right to strip Hox's 4 out of every single grain of minerals in it for profit. Because no other mining corporation out there has as loose safety regulations to send their workers onto such a bug-infested rock. And oh my god, there are so many bugs here. The Glyphids are aggressive natives of the planet, and like people born in the 90s and onwards, does not like loud noises nor drunk extroverts making a ruckus. This sends the Glyphids into a frenzy until the dwarves fucking leave. You start off by picking your dwarf of choice. They come in 4 flavors. The Scout, who moves fast and leaves dwarves behind. The Engineer that greases drillers' tunnels by blocking them with their platforms. The Gunner who'd rather wipe a run than use their dome shield. And the Driller, whose sole purpose is to blow up the Scout with the satchel charges. Each class brings something unique to the team to help travel the underground of the Hox's 4. The Scout has a grappling hook that lets him zip quickly across the case, reaching hard-to-reach minerals high up on the walls. His utility tool is a super flare, used to lit up large rooms so minerals and enemies are easier to spot, as the normal flares that everyone carries are limited in both duration and luminescence power. It's the Scout's job to grab the hard-to-reach resources with the grappling hook that is also useful mid-battle to quickly move to a less swarmed location. His other task is letting people see a fucking thing in large rooms. His starting loadout is a fairly accurate assault rifle and a double-barreled shotgun with high stun chance for close encounters. The Scout's grenades of choice are also some kind of crowd control between a slowing field, a freezing grenade, or pheromones that makes the Glyphids attack each other. If you like speed, mobility, and performing special tasks in the midst of journeys, then maybe the Scout is for you. The Engineer's role is assisting in fortifying a position by deploying a sentry turret. This little thing has a magazine of its own that the Engineer must refill if it wants to keep it shooting. It can't be destroyed and makes for an additional gun shooting the Glyphid hordes. The other task an Engineer has is helping people cross gas with a platform gun that has a surprising amount of uses. The Engineer probably has the weakest starting loadout, getting some really great ones to unlock after a few levels. The shotgun is alright, if a little underwhelming, and the grenade launcher suffers from slow reload time and a single shot magazine. But the turret works wonders and makes it up for it. The platform gun can be used to seal off holes in the ceiling, minimizing the areas where Glyphids will come from. Used as a safety net for long drops as it reduces fall damage or removes it completely, depending on the distance. Covering craters in the ground from things blowing up to make smoother fighting locations with less risk of falling down and getting stuck. And to build bridges. The Engineer's grenade functions as area control, between a taunt grenade, a proximity mines, or a grenade that explodes 4 times. The Scout also highly values the platforms as they let them have a place to stand when mining minerals high up on the walls. So if you like creative work, with platforming and planting turrets, then perhaps the Engineer is one worth testing out. The Gunner's role is bunkering down, not only with a deployable dome that scares off all bugs and block hostile projectiles for a while, but also having a massive gun with lots of bullets in it. The second role is helping the team crossing massive gaps and height that are too big for the Engineer's platforms to help with, by deploying zip lines that anyone can use. Do mind if you take too much damage, you will fall off. With a starting load of a minigun and a revolver, the Gunner comes with the most firepower out of the bunch. Both are fantastic weapons combined with 3 different grenades focused entirely on dishing out damage in the form of a sticky grenade, a large area effect incendiary grenade, or the big boom cluster grenade. So if you like being the defensive bulwark of the game and sitting on the most destructive weaponry in the arsenal, where everyone gathers as the swarm gets within teeth range, perhaps the Gunner is for you. I know it was for me. And the final dwarf in the team is the Driller. His role is to dig faster than anyone else on the team. He can quickly make shortcuts and dig through dirt areas to the next location. At the end of the missions, he can dig straight to the launching pod. That's his only role really. His utility tool is a satchel charged as a bomb that you can detonate at will. It's mostly used for griefing other players and can occasionally lure massive hordes of monsters or just massive monsters to a spot and blow them the fuck up. Driller focuses on chemical warfare, with his main gun being a flamethrower and later on an ice thrower and even later on an acid sludge thrower. The flamethrower applies the burning debuff that's a damage over time, and the steady stream is great on both hordes and big monsters. His secondary is a burst pistol to take down things the flamethrower just can't reach. The Driller's grenade are the most varied. Between the impact axe, that's a single target big damage grenade, the high explosive grenade that helps clearing out hordes, and the neurotoxin grenade that applies an area of poisonous gas. Do mind that the flame interacts with gas in an explosive way, so you can combine the gas grenade to apply the poison effect and then make it go boom with the flamethrower. So if you like spreading the love with a burning hot passion, and rethink how to traverse the mines with your self-made tunnels, the Driller might be worth a shot. And that's it for the Dwarfs. At the moment they all have access to 3 different primary and secondary weapons, and with Season 3 coming up, soon they're getting new grenades to play around with. Once you pick your dwarf of choice, you spawn inside one of the cabins. If there are more people in the lobby, they'll spawn in their own cabins. Here you can swap which dwarf you're playing and collect perk points to unlock and upgrade perks that are passive and activatable ones. Red ones are passive and blue ones are activated ones. Once you max out the level of the dwarf and promoted them for the first time, you get a second activatable perk slot. Step outside the cabin and you're greeted by the space rig. This is the hub of the game, where you do a lot of busy work. You can buy cosmetics, hit the bar, turn on the jukebox, hit the dance floor, play keg toss minigame, kick shit around, change your loadout, pick an assignment, craft overclocks, gear a Bosco, progress your battle pass, pick a mission, and just meander around. Assignments are like quests, where you do a specific line of mission marked on the mission map. Once you completed one step, you get another one, and a new location is marked. Once you've done all steps, whatever the reward is for that assignment is yours. This is how you unlock new weapons that becomes available as you level up your different dwarfs. And don't worry, if the mission that was currently on assignment rotates out, it will just be replaced by a current active one. Each season comes with a battle pass that will give a new flair and dangers on the maps. In Season 2 we had the rival company who uses drones that we had to deal with. The battle pass is a free thing and there's no premium version you need to purchase. The rewards are cosmetics and resources. And I must say it's quite refreshing seeing a battle pass that doesn't cost $10 for full enjoyment. Also don't worry, if you're late to the party, all the cosmetics you didn't get in this battle pass or previous ones are adding to the loot pile of cosmetics you can get during missions. From such things as loot crates and other things. Buzzcut is a little robot you play with in the tutorial. If you're the type that plays solo, this guy will be your companion to reach minerals in hard to reach places and aid in battle. You can customize him in the workbench behind the assignment board. If you start a public game, Buzzcut will be accompanying you until someone joins, in which he will blow himself up. So on to missions themselves. There's a vast variety of them, like previously mentioned, but also there's a good amount of different biomes. From crystal caves to sandrock caves to giant tree plains to salt caves and lava caves. And even more than that, some biomes have unique climate hazards, some comes with different variants of glyphids, and they all sport their own high and low amount of resources. For instance, if you're after the green glowing Umanite, the radioactive exclusion zone has it in its abundance. But you can still find it scarcely in places like the Glacial Strata and the Azure Weald. The missions takes about 20 minutes roughly, give or take, especially depending on difficulty. The higher difficulty, the more enemies, the slower down the progression will be. And it also depends how well the group is progressing with their given task at hand. The game does a very good job at keeping people ranked together. There is some wiggle room to spread out in an area to gather minerals faster, but rarely do people run into the next room by themselves. I mean, it does happen, but it's not too common. Using the scanner by holding down control highlights where your allies are and lets you tag things such as important enemies that needs to get focused, or important minerals you want others to get for the team. Such as Nitra, that likes to hang up in the walls. Nitra being a currency mineral only used in the mission you're currently in, as it will not carry over, that you can call in supply pods with, which refills ammo and heals whoever uses a charge from it. Each supply pod comes with 4 charges, so 1 each. No double dipping unless it's okay from the team. There is some need of ammo management. If you run out of ammo, all you have is your mining pick, and it won't do you much good in the long run. I rarely ran out of ammo, but there has been moments where guns started to run dry, and there's been no nitra in sight. The overall feel of the game comes very lighthearted. The dwarves are often rambling, making fun shots at quip at each other, or Molly, the walking minecart. The game is vibrant with a comfy light engine. The game simply brims of character, which is an amazing given that the game is 2.5 GB large. Seriously, I've had updates on games bigger than this game. There's a difficulty slider for every mission you take. The higher difficulty, the more rewards you get on a successful run, and the less you get on a failed run. If you're someone who's well versed in horde co-op shooters on higher difficulties, you'll find yourself at home on difficulty 3 and 4. Remember, the difficulty only affects how much rewards you get, so don't feel ashamed playing on lower difficulties if you just want to make sure to progress an assignment faster. Speaking of difficulty, if you have some time to run more than one mission and want the real taste of the game challenging you, there's the deep dive missions, which is considered the end game content of DRG. You can only play deep dives with dwarves who have been promoted at least once, so 1 bronze star or above. These missions are 3 missions tied together, each with 2 main objectives rather than just 1 and a secondary. The rewards for doing these are matrix cores, a blank one, a weapon overclock, and a cosmetic one in that order. Blank ones you can use in regular missions in so-called machine events, where you do a little fight and then slot the matrix core and choose one of 3 options to turn into either an overclock or a cosmetic core. Once you've beaten your first deep dive and want an even greater challenge, there's the elite version, which cranks up the difficulty even further. Overclocking matrix cores I mentioned earlier is the pinnacle of improving your dwarves. These mods changes your weapons either with small buffs or drastically making them practically into very different weapons than their default style. For example, the gunner's coil gun, that's like a railgun pistol, that can be charged up as an overclock where the bullet will do more damage the more terrain it penetrates, but also takes longer to charge up. Another example of an overclock is the minigun's lead storm that adds 40% more damage, but you can't move while shooting and stun is almost non-existent. These overclocks can be swapped and removed, so don't be too scared to experiment if you get a bunch. Try them out, you might like one that doesn't seem good or fun on paper. They're a bit expensive to make, but in the late game there's not much else to spend your resources on anyways. If you wanna play on higher difficulties, maybe randoms might not always be the best, especially not deep dive, since if someone drops, it doesn't seem like anyone else can join you once the deep dive has started. The general DRG community I've found has been very friendly. It's just the guys with 3 red stars borders that's been very backseaty, pessimistic about non-promotion wars. For example, the first guy I met was a 3 red star scout. I joined his Hazard 4 boss hunt mission. We were shortly joined by a driller and a gunner, both as unpromoted as me. He started making noise that we were not going to have enough damage to deal with the bosses. I was confused, since I've done a lot of Hazard 4 without problem. I told him it's fine and no need for worry, as I've done this difficulty before with success. After the first boss, where the 2 others spend more than half their ammo during the time the boss is invulnerable, as shown when the life bar is turning white, the scout said we're low on ammo and he's gonna go find Nitra. After about 2 minutes of waiting in silence with nothing from him and things constantly spawning at us, making us running out even more of the little ammo we had, the 3 of us began the next boss fight. Not surprised that the driller was hugging the boss each time he did his melee AoE attack, which the boss does every time he hardens his shell, because on this boss you need to first break his shell by shooting at him, and then you can shoot his big glowy butt until he hardens. And when he hardens, he does like a bunch of spikes around him, which is a one-shot in most cases, or very close to it. Suffice to say, both the gunner and the driller died fairly quickly in that fight. Luckily, there was a pillar in this area where we were fighting the boss, so I could keep the boss running around that one, dodging the fireball he spits occasionally. New enemies spawn in, and I deal with them too. I noticed the nitro again and called down a resupply pod. As with my current health, trying to revive either the gunner or the driller would be a quick death. Since the legendary rank 3 promotion, Scout shows up. The boss sits on about a quarter of its health left. We're about to wrap this up. I deal with the incoming drones, quickly hacking the one that becomes available. Sweet, I think. We got this one in our pocket now. It was a very long fight, but I managed to live for like 4 minutes solo stalling it, and it's all about to end. And then the scout kicked me and the 2 other guys. And that was the last time I ever joined a public room instead of being the host myself. Yes, whoever starts a mission has full control and can kick anyone whenever they feel like it. I guess I couldn't handle the fact that 3 non-promoted dwarves could deal with his Hazard 4 boss fight mission. There's another story with another 3 red star driller that was starting to backseat me in one mission, and I told him not to do that as I had a bad experience with the last red star guy commentating on the situation. Only to be remembered that the game does indeed have voice chat inbuilt, as he uses to tell me to relax, I'm just giving you friendly advice. Pro tip. When no one asks you for advice, there's nothing friendly about it. All I did was building the pies for him that he had set up so he could work on the last pies we need to set up. Since I was the scout, I could quickly go elsewhere after I was done. Anyways, shit spawns, we were both down. The East European promotionist gunner, who is the 3rd guy, is fighting for his dear life for half a minute before the Mr. Red Star leaves. The gunner managed to reach me, rests me, and we dealt with the swarm as 2 new dwarves joined, and we wrapped up the mission nicely in about 10 minutes later. Somehow I got off track here. What I was gonna say is that the community is generally great and friendly, and the developers really want you to socialize, as there's an in-game info panel showing you the official Discord, where you can also join the Discord from it if you want to make new minor friends. It's a pretty cool way to advertise your Discord. So if you're still shooting millions of bugs, craving that mineral like a mountain goat, enjoying trusting the success of a mission on 3 other dwarves, and rock that stone, then I hope you'll give this game a try. It has proven the test of time, as the game is 5 years old and still getting content, and I've yet to grow bored of it. Now if you excuse me, I think I'm spotting some.
Bismol! It feels so good to say it. Bismol! Oh, yeah! Bismol is a common type of felsic, intrusive, ingenious rock. Bismol can be predominantly white, pink, or grey in color. Bismol is a common type of felsic, intrusive, ingenious rock. Bismol can be white, pink, grey, depending on the mineralogy. Bismol.